Welcome to the deep dive. You know, whenever AI comes up, the conversation always seems to swing towards these huge extremes. Is it going to save us all? Or, is it the end of the world? It feels like we've been asking versions of that question since Alan Turing back in 1950, wondering if machines could think like us.
Right, and it's a fascinating philosophical question, absolutely. But it can also be, well,
Mm-hmm.
a bit paralyzing, can't it? If we're constantly looking at that distant, maybe hypothetical future, we miss what's happening right now. So for this deep dive, we really wanted to focus on I think, a much more useful question for today.
Which is,
Where is AI for good actually working already?
mm-hmm.
And critically, how do we take those successes and, scale them up, build something better for society with them?
Exactly. We've been looking at a whole stack of sources, and it's clear this isn't just hype or sci-fi. We're talking about real functional systems, tools that are actually helping doctors find diseases earlier or helping researchers test ideas way faster than before.
Or helping communities make smarter choices about risks, like flooding or wildfires.
Right. So our plan is to really define what AI for good means in practice, show some solid examples in science, health, education, but also, importantly, tackle the risks head on. And maybe give you some ideas about how you can engage with all this.
Yeah, it's about finding that genuine public value, not just the next shiny new tech demo. Hashtag what AI for good actually means.
Okay, so let's start right there. AI for good. It sounds great, but what does it actually mean? Our sources call it a practical stance. How does that translate?
It means the focus shifts. It's less about novelty and more about utility. Are we actually solving a real problem? So think less about, I don't know, generating funny cat pictures and more about building models that predict wildfire spread accurately or prosthetics that actually learn from the person using them.
So it's a more disciplined application of the tech.
Absolutely. It demands a certain rigor.
Okay, so if it demands rigor, what are the sort of guiding principles? How do you enforce that discipline?
Well, our sources point to three main ones. And the first one is maybe the biggest shift needed. Problem first, not model first.
Okay, unpack that.
It means you don't start with the fancy new AI model and then look around for something to do with it. You start with the human need. You ask, where's the bottleneck? What's the actual pain point?
Like a hospital struggling with a huge backlog of radiology scans.
Exactly. Or maybe a school that has, one counselor trying to support 600 kids. Personalized guidance is just impossible in that scenario.
Or maybe a coastal town using flood maps that are completely out of date.
Precisely. Find that specific human scale problem. The AI only matters if it directly helps solve that.
Right. But okay, even if you identify the problem, how do you avoid just building another cool demo that looks good but doesn't actually work reliably in the real world? We see a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. And it leads straight to the second principle. Evidence over demos. AI for good demands proof, real-world proof. That means things like proper clinical trials or rigorous A/B testing, stress testing the system.
So measurable outcomes.
Measurable, replicable outcomes. If your tool genuinely saves doctors, say, 20 minutes per patient note, and does it consistently without using accuracy, that's evidence. If it just creates more confusion or needs constant fixing, then it's not ready. You shelve it.
But what about the black box problem? Some of these models, especially deep learning, find patterns humans can't easily explain. Does that rigorous standard hold it back?
That's a really important point, and it connects directly to the third principle.
Yeah.
Ethical AI by design. You're right, some models are opaque. But when we're talking about systems that impact people's lives, a medical diagnosis, an educational path, access to resources, there has to be a baseline.
Which is,
If you can't explain why the system made a critical decision, you probably shouldn't deploy it in that high-stakes context. Not yet, anyway. Things like privacy, fairness, transparency, they can't be afterthoughts. They have to be built in from the very beginning.
okay. So AI for good isn't really about the algorithm itself then. It's more about the whole process. The disciplined application, the focus on real problems, and this essential layer of governance and ethics.
That's a great way to put it. Governance is basically the price of admission. Hashtag AI accelerating scientific discovery and climate solutions.
Okay, with that framework set, let's look at where this approach is actually making headway. Our sources talk a lot about AI as a kind of pattern engine, or even a partner for experts, speeding things up.
Yeah, and this is where things get really exciting, I think.
Mm.
Take personalized medicine. It's incredibly complex, right? You're trying to bring together genomics, imaging data, lifestyle factors, patient history. It's a massive amount of
Yeah,
information.
too much for one person to easily synthesize.
Exactly. AI models are really good at fusing these different data streams.
Mm.
They can suggest, say, a ranked list of potential therapies, even estimate the risk of side effects, tailored specifically to that individual, not just the average patient.
So the doctor isn't replaced, they're augmented.
Precisely. They get a much better evidence-backed starting point. The AI provides the analysis, maybe even points to the supporting studies, but the doctor retains full authority. They apply their human judgment, their empathy, they talk to the patient, they're leveled up, freed up from some of the intense data crunching.
That idea of managing complexity, it scales up massively when you think about something like climate change, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely. Climate science is a planetary data problem. You've got petabytes of satellite data, sensor readings from all over, climate models that don't always agree.
It's messy.
It's incredibly messy. AI is helping to reconcile different data resolutions, filling gaps where sensors might have failed. And maybe most importantly, it's getting better at spotting those really subtle early warning signs. Small shifts in ocean currents, changes in soil moisture, things that might predict a drought or a flood before it becomes obvious, giving communities lead time.
That predictive power is crucial for building resilience. You mentioned energy, too. I saw some surprising things in the sources. AI is helping with nuclear fusion experiments. That sounds very futuristic.
It does, but it's happening. Things like stabilizing the plasma. It's incredibly difficult, and AI control systems are learning to do it, accelerating the research. And on the more practical side, think about wind farms. AI systems can optimize the angle of every single turbine blade in real time, based on predictions of wind speed and how the turbines affect each other.
Squeezing out more efficiency from renewables.
Exactly. It's quiet, background optimization, but it adds up to a real increase in clean energy production.
And what about the research process itself, this idea of a digital lab?
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Large language models, for example, can now read through hundreds of scientific papers, understand the methods sections, and even suggest variations for a new experiment.
Like, try lowering the temperature by 2 degrees. It might increase the yield based on these 10 similar studies.
Kind of like that, yeah. And then you can have AI agents actually help schedule the lab equipment, monitor experiments in real time, and flag anomalies immediately. It turns overwhelming complexity into more manageable workflows.
But who owns the discovery then? If an AI suggests a breakthrough.
That's a huge governance question. IP, liability,
Good.
these need clear rules.
Hmm.
Generally, the ownership still rests with the human researcher guiding the process in the institution. But it's definitely an area needing clear standards. Hashtag transforming healthcare and education.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit more on the direct societal benefits. You mentioned healthcare earlier, specifically diagnostics. How tangible is that?
It's becoming very tangible. Think about medical imaging, x-rays, CT scans, MRIs. Models trained on literally millions of past scans can often pick up on very subtle signals, things that a highly skilled radiologist might miss, especially, at the end of a long day.
So the AI acts like a second pair of eyes.
A very consistent, tireless second pair of eyes. It can pre-label areas of interest, maybe provide a risk score, pull up relevant information from the patient's record. The result, faster diagnoses and, crucially, fewer misdiagnoses, fewer false negatives. That's a huge win for patients and clinicians.
And this focus on helping humans extends to accessibility too, right? Making tools more inclusive.
Absolutely. This is a really positive application area. We're seeing AI generate real-time audio descriptions for visually impaired people,
Right.
or live captioning that's smart enough to understand specialized jargon, like in a complex engineering lecture.
That goes way beyond basic captioning.
Way beyond. And then think about advanced prosthetics. AI can allow a prosthetic limb to actually learn and adapt its movements over time to the specific way you walk. Your unique gait becomes much more integrated, more natural.
That level of personalization is amazing. But to get there, especially in healthcare, trust is paramount. Safety can't just be a goal, it needs a process. What does that look like?
It has to be rigorous. Our sources suggest a kind of checklist. First, data governance. Strict rules about using only consented, anonymized, encrypted data, minimizing what data you even keep.
Okay.
Second, robustness testing. You have to actively try to break the model, throw edge cases at it, adversarial examples, deliberately tricky inputs to see how it holds up under pressure.
Like stress testing a bridge.
Exactly. Third, human oversight. For critical decisions, there must always be a human in the loop, with a clear record of who reviewed the AI's suggestion and why they approved or rejected it. And it needs to be easy to override the AI.
Makes sense.
And finally, ongoing monitoring. Once deployed, you need systems that constantly watch for drift signs that the model's performance is degrading in the real world and alert someone immediately.
That sounds like the kind of rigor needed to build trust. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to education. You mentioned AI tutors. How are they different from just like fancy homework helpers?
That's the key difference. Good adaptive learning systems aren't just about giving answers. They're about understanding why a student is stuck. It's not just saying you got the algebra problem wrong. It's figuring out, you consistently stumble when distributing the negative sign in quadratic equations. Let's work on that specific concept.
So diagnoses the learning gap.
Precisely. Then it can adjust the difficulty, offer different types of explanations or examples, and check if the student genuinely understands the concept now, not just mimicking a pattern they saw.
And presumably, this helps teachers too. Takes some burden off them.
That's the other huge potential benefit. So much of a teacher's time gets eaten up by administrative tasks, right? AI can help draft initial lesson plans,
Yeah.
create varied assignments tailored to different learning levels in the class, even pre-grade routine assessments with targeted feedback.
Freeing up the teacher to do what they do best.
Exactly. To focus on the human side of teaching, the mentoring, the discussion, the individual support, giving them back time for their actual craft, hashtag the hard parts and mitigation risks. Okay, but we absolutely have to talk about the downsides. We can't champion AI for good without acknowledging the risks. Credibility requires that.
Agreed. Let's get into the major challenges. Bias, privacy, security, these seem unavoidable.
They are significant challenges. Bias is a big one. AI systems learn from data, and if that data reflects historical inequalities or discrimination,
The AI learns the bias.
it learns and can even amplify the bias. Think about hiring algorithms trained on past, possibly biased hiring decisions. That's a real danger. Mitigation means being incredibly careful about data collection, making sure it's representative. It means specific bias audits before deployment and setting up red teams whose job is explicitly to find and exploit potential biases.
Like ethical hackers, but for bias.
Sort of, yeah. And then there are the privacy and security risks, which just grow as these systems become more integrated.
Data breaches in healthcare are devastating. And could someone, like, hack an AI controlling infrastructure?
Those are real threats. Protecting sensitive data requires advanced techniques like privacy-preserving machine learning, where the model learns without seeing the raw individual data. And security means robust defenses against attacks designed to manipulate or poison the model's behavior. Plus basic stuff like ensuring systems only have access to the absolute minimum data they need least privilege access.
Then there's the whole issue of misinformation, deepfakes. Generative AI makes creating fake but convincing text, images, videos incredibly cheap now.
Yeah, that's a massive problem. Scams, propaganda, undermining trust. It's serious. The defense here has to be layered. We need technical solutions like cryptographic watermarks or signatures to prove where content came from. Provenance. Better detection tools are needed.
But technology alone won't fix it, right?
No way. Platforms need clear rules and enforcement, and ultimately, we all need better media literacy skills to spot manipulation tactics. It's an ongoing battle.
And finally, the really big societal questions. Jobs and power. The fear that AI will take everyone's job.
Well, it's important to be precise here. AI itself doesn't take jobs. Organizations choose how to deploy AI, and that might involve changing roles or reducing headcount. That choice requires proactive planning from society. We need robust retraining programs, support for workers transitioning, strong social safety nets. It's a policy challenge.
And the power issue.
That might be the bigger long-term risk. If the core infrastructure for AI, the big models, the computing power ends up controlled by just a few giant companies,
That's a lot of concentrated power.
it's potentially control over the infrastructure of thought. That's concerning. The counter strategies involve promoting competition, pushing for open standards so systems can work together, and investing in strong public institutions, universities, government agencies that can provide checks and balances and guide development in the public interest. Hashtag how to participate in AI for good.
Okay, we've covered the definition, the applications in science, health, education, and the very real risks. So for someone listening, maybe they're learning about AI, maybe working in a field affected by it, or maybe just trying to be an informed citizen, what can you actually do? How do you participate in steering this towards good?
Great question. If you're actively learning about AI, or maybe thinking of a career shift, the advice from our sources is clear. Use AI tools with intention. Don't just get it to write your essay or code for you. Use it to deepen your own understanding. Ask it to quiz you. Make it explain a complex process step by step, then try to teach the concept back yourself. That builds real skill.
Use it as a learning partner, not a crutch.
Exactly. And then try to build something, even something small. Pick a local issue you care about, maybe mapping heat islands in your city using public data, or building a simple chatbot to help people navigate local health resources, making sure you build in those safety checks we talked about. Get your hands dirty. You learn so much more by actually trying to build and deploy something responsibly, even on a small scale, than just reading about it. And alongside the tech skills, focus on what our sources call the social stack. Understand the relevant laws, privacy regulations like GDPR. Learn about safety standards, ethical frameworks, how to do proper usability testing.
Because the tech alone isn't enough.
Not even close. The real leaders will be those who can bridge the technical and the human, the code and the context.
Okay, and what about for everyone else? Just going about daily life in a world increasingly shaped by AI.
Demand transparency. That's a big one. Ask questions. Ask your local school board. What AI tools are being used? How are they vetted for bias? What's the policy? Ask your hospital about its AI governance. Ask your city about algorithms used for traffic management or allocating services.
We have a right to know how these systems affecting us work.
You absolutely do. Push for that transparency. And vote with your attention and your wallet. Choose tools and services from companies that are open about how their AI works, that publish evaluation results, that give you control over your data, and offer clear ways to appeal if an automated decision seems wrong.
And maybe adjust our attitude a bit. It's easy to be cynical.
It is. Skepticism is healthy. We need critical thinking. But cynicism doesn't build anything. The goal isn't just to point out flaws. It's to channel the immense energy and investment in AI towards positive, concrete outcomes. Engage constructively. #outro. You know, we started with that big question, utopia or dystopia. But maybe the real insight was that it's not some predetermined fate. It's really a result of countless small choices we make every day. Do we define the problem clearly? Do we demand real evidence? Do we center the people actually affected? Do we build in safeguards?
AI won't write the future on its own.
Exactly. We write it together. And the choice is pretty stark, really. Are we going to use this powerful technology to create more distractions, or are we going to use it to solve tangible problems in our communities?
And we've seen tonight that the AI for good approach isn't just theoretical. It's already happening. It's contributing to finding cancer earlier. It's helping students who are struggling finally grasp difficult concepts. It's bringing communities vital warnings before disaster strikes.
The proof points are there. So maybe a final thought, especially for anyone listening who wants to get involved. Think about how AI can make expertise itself more accessible. How can it make experts better at what they do and spread that knowledge more widely? The call to action is pretty simple, but I think it's powerful. Find one specific problem in your field, your community, your work. Apply that AI for good playbook problem first. Evidence-driven, ethically designed. Build something, test it, and then crucially, share what you learned. Write a short report, put the code out there if you can. Let others build on your success.
Because that's how real change happens.
That's how fields move forward. One concrete, shared step at a time.